Hello everyone, welcome back to Bold Vehicles. On this episode, we will be going over cars that don't look their price. Make sure to stay till the end of this video to find out what car is at the top of this list. If you're new to this channel or if you haven't done so yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button and smash the like button. Before the advent of computers, a team of designers would hand draw the desired car and do several designs, and then higher-ups would decide, based on those sketches, which ones should be taken to the next step and be made into 3D clay models. And then one or a few real cars would be produced as prototypes. This entire process was time-consuming. But with the advent of computers, all that changed. New software programs allowed designers to sketch the car in computers and give them access to every angle and orientation. With software programs, it became possible to do minute things like the addition of colors, but also important things like the prediction of the aerodynamics and safety features. The final design is now simply sent to a milling machine that prints a 3D car. Let's keep one thing straight though. It doesn't necessarily cost more money to make a car look aesthetically sensible. Now, of course, some people might have to work harder, and if the culture of the particular automotive manufacturer isn't appropriate, they'll end up with a car that costs a lot more than it should. But there are some companies, like Aston Martin, that do their job properly and don't dismiss the idea and comments of the designers, thus making the cars look nice. So let's take a look at a few of those. Number 10. 2018 Toyota Mirai. Unveiled in 2014 at the Los Angeles Auto Show, the car hit the market in 2015 with an innovative powertrain hydrogen fuel cell. While the concept of the hydrogen fuel cell, hydrogen combining with atmospheric oxygen to directly create the electricity needed to move the wheels, isn't unique by any means. The Mirai did take this field further by being the first one to have this technology at such a large level. It has a range of 312 miles and fuel economy of 66 miles per gallon, equivalent in the US, meaning the Mirai, standing for future in Japanese, is quite possibly the future of electronic vehicles. But this future has to improve if Mirai or Toyota is to get ahead. With a hefty price tag of $58,000, you can't expect people to drive a car with a front that's misshaped. Number 9. BMW 7 Series E65. The 7 Series, produced from 2001 to 2008, was not liked by people at all. There were several factors at play. Right from the get-go, people had trouble starting the car, while now you have a remote start key. You just have to press the button from your home and the car starts. There is also the keyless start-stop system. With this one, you would have to press the push button with the key fob nearby. And before that, you had a semi-keyless start-stop option in these cars. You started the car by pressing the push button, but still needed to insert the key fob, just not the traditional metallic key. And then, there were issues with adapting to the infotainment system. Worst yet, the headlamps looked crooked on this car. All that left a negative impression on the exterior, making the expensive ride look cheap. Number 8. 2015 Acura TLX. Given the current trend of ridiculously awesome-looking grills, the TLX lags behind. It's just the nature of the game unless Acura plans on making some other aspect world famous. And all that fault is present in the current model year. This entry is for the first generation. Brace yourself. With a base price of $30,000 and an upscale price of $45,000, Acura was committing highway robbery with its TLX model. I'm saying this despite liking Acura. The exterior simply looked like it is a more reasonably priced ILX. So what were you paying for in the base model of TLX? After all, it was the upscale version of the TLX that was equipped with the performance goodies, right? So you paid those few hundreds or even thousands for some pretty changes to the interior? Number 7. 2018 Nissan Altima. Next on the list is the Altima. It's not that bad of a car, but compared to what some of its competitors offer in the same price range, it does fall a little short. There are some people who think that besides the sports cars, whatever Nissan makes is blind and boring. Some models are outright comment deducers. Yep, talking about the Nissan Cube. Some people think the Altima is uninspiring and emotionless, and that's true to a certain extent when you line it up against the rest of the Nissan cars. While Toyota offers pure reliability and Honda reliability with a hint of lucrativeness, Nissan offers reliability at a cheaper price. However, savings of a few $100 come at the price of a bland exterior. Number 6. 2001 to 2010 Chrysler PT Cruiser. The PT Cruiser certainly isn't the most expensive on this list, but it was still within the average price range at its time. For example, in 2005, from $13,000 to $27,000, depending on what you got. And before I dive into the ugly, the car had some things to it. Some people liked the design of the car. It represented novelty. But then came a point when the novelty wore off, and even those who had moderately liked the car stopped. There are a few souls commenting around online on how they like the PT Cruiser, but they're very hard to find. The interior was poor, and it wasn't exactly meant for adults. The rear seats were tight on space. Eventually, sales plummeted, and Chrysler let go of it. Number 5. 2016 Lincoln MKS. There was a time when Lincoln cars used to be great. They meant a lot. But now, it's kind of hard to believe that Lincoln is Ford's luxury division. Most of Ford's economy cars do better than the high-priced Lincolns. Take the MKS for instance. The car tries to have a unique grille, but that definitely needs more work, or else only the Chinese will continue to buy this car. The overall design is a bit tough on the eyes too, and if you were counting on the design of the cabin, don't get ahead of yourself. Nothing to see there, folks. The worst part is the horrible safety features. Its only saving grace is perhaps the good suspension system, but it's hard to convince one to buy a car just because of that. What's the price of this luxury? Over $30,000. Number 4. Hummer H2. Amidst the craze for bigger and bulkier cars, when SUVs rose in the market like the current Amazon stocks, the Hummer stood out like an angel waiting to help you. We were fascinated by the idea of a civilized military vehicle. The Humvee used in the Gulf War had given some idea to convert it into a civilian truck, and people were ecstatic. One thing led to another, and the Hummer got produced. It was all cool, until you realized what you were actually doing. You were just driving a behemoth vehicle that didn't have the powertrain needed to keep up pace on the highways. Off-road driving was fine to a certain extent, but sucked gas like there was no tomorrow. And the price for all that? North of $50,000. Number 3. Mercedes A-Class, first and second generation. If you look at the current Mercedes A-Class, you'll realize that even compact cars can look tantalizing from the outside. The grille and the Mercedes logo kept things lively in the current A-Class, and those struggling with looks in their compact lineups should take some lessons from Mercedes, the master that had to learn once upon a time too. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the first and second generation Mercedes A-Class. These cars were notoriously shaped, reminding you of a miniature minivan. We just couldn't take the Mercedes logo on such a disproportionately shaped car. Now, we can give the early models some concessions as they were subcompact back then, and sold surprisingly well in Europe, where the streets are as narrow as an end-stage clogged artery, but still could have been done a little better. The car devastated Mercedes fans in the US. Number 2. Range Rover Discovery 3 second generation. At one point, this car became synonymous with the word unreliable. The car that was supposed to withstand the ruts of the wild, the car that was supposed to brace the wilderness, the car that was supposed to give you the luxury to go off-road driving with peace of mind was simply beaten by the roads of its owner's neighborhood. Sign after sign, breakdown after breakdown, leak after leak. It showed them all like there was no tomorrow. It seemed to hold the most potential for all that could go wrong on this planet. Consumer Reports got fed up and rated the one in 2009 as the most unreliable car on the planet. The car looked okay, but who knew what the interior was hiding? It was only when you drove it that you realized what failure tasted like at a price tag of $60,000. Number 1. 2018 Buick LaCrosse. Unfortunately, Buick has enough material to the point where we could probably do a whole video on their lineups and how they don't fare well on the market. The LaCrosse, Buick's flagship sedan, is simply horrendous. The car is just too bulbous. Novelty's a good thing, but you can't succeed if you aren't bringing anything new, but that also entails failure. Buick has become a master of it. The only reason GM keeps Buick around is for its market presence in China. The Chinese love the Buick and will keep the brand alive. Why, you ask? The reason is historical. Buick was portrayed as the prestige car in much of Chinese cinema in the 1930s and 1940s, and Buick continues to market itself as a rich Westerner's car. If only the Chinese knew our side of the story. Well, there you have it. Which was your favorite? And what can you say about this? Let us know in the comments below. That's it for this video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you can check out our other videos. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Catch us in the next video.